Hi guys! In this video, I am really excited to finally be covering all your questions that you have given me on the road to 2,000 subscribers. We finally achieved this great milestone, not as great as the 1,000 subscribers, but it still fills me with joy and gratitude that we finally achieved this milestone. And just like I said in the specific video thanking you about this, about getting me here, once again, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for getting me here and for supporting me so much. And I'm truly so grateful that you guys are in my life. And I don't mean this to sound like super parasocial or whatever. I know people love deriding that fact on social media, but like I've said many times before, for me this is a two-way parasocial relationship. As much as you guys might enjoy hanging out with me in my videos, I love hanging out with you guys in the comment section. So it's very much a two-way thing, you know? Which is also kind of what this is, where I once again, like I said, will be covering all the questions that you guys have given me. I wish I got more questions, or at least more varied questions, and maybe potentially more personal questions. So I guess if you guys have any like that, I would be fine like answering them in the comments, because I don't really want to do another video right after this one like this. But still, I'm gonna do my best to answer all your questions, and there's quite a lot. So I think we should just start it off with the first one, which is by Saurak Hernandez. And it says, will you be doing reaction videos for the Beast Wars Transformers series? So if I remember correctly, there's gonna be a couple of more questions related to Transformers. And I am happy to announce to you guys that yes, I will be reacting to every Transformers animated series. At least until the Transformers animated series that is in a similar cartoony style, CGI style to the TMNT 2012 series. I'll definitely be covering until that point. I'm not exactly sure about the more newer ones, and potentially some of the ones that are maybe too focused on the kid side of things I might skip over, but most likely the older it is, the more likely I am to cover it. So yes, I will be covering all of those in the same way that I have covered the TMNT series, just I'm going to be covering them chronologically instead of just randomly all over the place, because with TMNT, I started with the 2003 series, went to the 2012, then went back to the 1987 and Rise of the TMNT series, and I'm still doing the 1987 series, I'm still not done. And I'm going to be going back to redoing the 2003 series, for those of you who didn't know. So yeah, I've been a little bit all over the place, but I will be doing that for Transformers as well, and pretty much any cartoon that has an incarnation from like the 80s or whatever, because there's also the Thundercats. Sadly, the 2011 series is too short, so most likely after I watch that series, whenever I get to it, I will just be hungry for more Thundercats content in general, so I will want to check out the 80s series regardless of how good I would actually find it, because I just will want more Thundercats content, just like how right now, despite the fact that there's obviously no more Fullmetal Alchemist 2003 content, I'm just hungry for more Fullmetal Alchemist content, so eventually I will be covering the Brotherhood series, because I'm just hungry for more content from that franchise, you know? So let's continue with question number 2 by a very common subscriber, and if I remember correctly, also a big supporter on my Patreon, Soap93160, with their question being, how would you rank the different TMNT incarnations that you have watched? Well, I'm not gonna get into this a little bit too much, because I plan on doing a bunch of videos basically ranking every single character that appears across multiple incarnations of TMNT once I am done covering all things TMNT, because I'm still uploading the next mutation, I'm still doing reactions to the 1987 series, I still have to rewatch the 2003 series. Once I am done with all of that, I will rank every single character across all the different movies or cartoons, pretty much. So that's where most of my opinion about this will be, but generally I would say for me the 2003 series is still up there. I feel like most likely the Rise of the TMNT series might actually be my second favorite, especially once we get towards the end of it. I feel like the movie I really like. If we got more of the movie vibe throughout the series, I would have been straight up said that it was gonna be as good as the 2003 series. But right now, I'm not quite sure, because like the aspects of the Rise of the TMNT series that I like quite a lot, but there's also a lot of things about it that do bother me. So I don't know. I think it's up there. This might be a little bit of a controversial opinion, but I enjoy every single incarnation of TMNT pretty much at this point. The only ones that I can say I hate are the 90s movie Turtles for the first two movies. Those I can't fucking stand. I like them in the third movie where they kind of chill out a little bit, but in the first and the second, I find them incredibly annoying. So those are most likely going to be on the bottom for me. But when it comes to like the cartoon versions, they're not really that far from each other, you know? Ultimately, I feel like I might, in terms of my love and enjoyment, I might rank it 2003, Rise, 1987, and 2012. I know this might be a controversial opinion, and I know I love the 2012 series. I ended up loving it quite a lot towards the end of it. I ended up loving Rise of the TMNT quite a lot. I love the 1987 series. But I feel like when we're talking about as a complete package, I feel like 2003 is still on top. Rise and 1987 are almost at the same level. And 2012 is at the bottom of those. If we include the movies as well, I like the 2014 movie a decent amount. I like the Next Mutation Turtles quite a lot. But again, we're talking as a complete kind of thing, so yeah, I don't know. I'm sorry I'm a little bit scatterbrained about this, but it's like, which ones do we really include? Do we include all the movie ones? This is something that you really specifically have to sit down and like think about and like build them in like a list, which I just don't really have the time to do or have the preparation to do, because I'm reading these questions largely right now. I've maybe glimpsed over them a little bit, but I didn't want to pre-prepare too much about them, you know? So yeah, generally that's how I feel about it. When it comes to cartoons, that's how it is. For movies, again, I like probably the Rise of the TMNT one the most. Then it would be the 2007 movie, then the 2014 movie, then it would be the third movie in the 90s trilogy, then it would be the 2016 movie, then would be the first movie from the 90s, then would be the second movie from the 90s, and I'm forgetting Batman vs. the TMNT, but does that count? I think that one's fine, but it's honestly just maybe right above the 90s duology movies that I hate. And there's Mutant Mayhem, which I still have not reacted to, but most likely I will react to it for the ending of my reactions to the next Mutations. So I guess if you want to see that, you're going to have to wait until then, which is not going to be that long. I'm probably going to record the reaction in like a week or two, but we'll see. But yeah, generally that's where I stand in my opinions about these incarnations. And if you want to learn more, you're going to have to wait until I do a more detailed video, which, yeah, it's going to take a while, but I just want to do it proper justice for every single character, you know? But yeah, that's kind of how I feel about it right now. Ultimately, I guess my opinions necessarily haven't changed that much, but I've definitely gotten a new appreciation for all the differently varied turtles, and I enjoy all of them on some level. Because like even the next mutation, as bad as it is, there's still some enjoyable stuff, you know? I think the banter between the turtles and like the dialogue and the writing is not necessarily bad. Where it's bad is the execution of the action and the budget restrictions of that series, you know? So let's continue with the next question. It seems like we're going to be really rhyming the questions for Transformers in TMNT, because the next question is a Transformers question, and the question after that is a TMNT question. So let's continue with the next one, which is the Transformers one by Caden. The question being, have you seen the new Transformers trailer? I believe this was a question that was released before, that was commented before the release of the Rise of the Beasts movie, I think it was called. And my answer to that is yes, I saw it, but I don't particularly care for it. I'm not really that big of a fan of the Transformers movies since the original Michael Bay trilogy, which you can say whatever you want about the quality. I myself don't think the second and the third movie are particularly great, but that first movie is honestly genuinely fucking good, and I find it really enjoyable. And I remember when I watched it for the first time as a kid, I was fucking blown away. And the CGI of those three movies it's honestly unmatched by the current Transformers shit. Like, how the fuck are we regressing with that? I don't get that. Although, since again we're on the team talking about Transformers, as I said, for all the Transformers series, most likely I went up reacting to all of the live-action Transformers movies, and all Transformers movies in general, animated as well, because that's what we did for TMNT. That's what we're gonna do for Transformers, I guess. But yeah, let's continue with the next question by David Tello Benitez, which is once again gonna be a question that I can't really answer much about right here, but I've kind of answered already in pre-existing videos. That being the question of what are your best and hated TMNT episodes? Basically, which are my favorite and which are my least favorite episodes. If you want a detailed explanation about which episodes I love a lot and which I hate, I already have made videos for the 2003 series and the 2012 one, for which ones I like the most. If I remember correctly, my favorite episode in the 2003 series was I Monster, a really nicely action-packed episode with a really cool atmosphere, really cool villain, and just a really, really cool mystery as well. I really, really like that episode. For my least favorite episode, honestly, I haven't really thought about any episodes of the 2003 series that I particularly hate. It would probably be either some random filler episodes. Usually it's like, I think it was like the Garbage Man episodes that I didn't really care for. Or it's probably gonna be some Season 7 episode, because Season 7 was a mess, if I remember correctly. So for the 2003 series, that's where it's going to be, honestly. For the 2012 series, I mean, again, I've done a video about this. If I remember correctly, it was the Dream Beavers episodes, which I forgot the name of. I'm sorry. But it was, I believe, episode 5 of season 3. I really, really found that episode enjoyable and hilarious and over the top, and I really, really like it. In general, there's a lot of episodes from season 3, 4, and 5 that I really like a lot, but none of them really stick out necessarily as much as the episodes in the 2003 series, so I'm not as definitive about which is my favorite. Although it most likely is the Dream Beavers episodes, because it was just like the first time we got like really creative like that in that series, so I really, really enjoyed that. For my least favorite episodes, it would probably be some episodes from season 1, like the kind of ironically named I Monster episode, because in the 2003 series I love that episode. In the 2012 series I kind of find it a little annoying, because that version of the Rat King I'm not into whatsoever. But in general, season 1 was very bland and uninteresting, so basically you can almost pick any episode from season 1 and I'm likely to not really like it that much. Although the closer you get to the end of the season, it is a little bit better, so there's that. But largely that's probably where you can find my most hated episodes. And when it comes to the other TMNT shows, I am yet to do a video for the Rise of the TMNT series, even though I have finished it. I've prepared the list, I just have to sit down and record it. I don't know when exactly I'm going to do that, but I will do it. But yeah, for that one, I feel like towards the end of season 1 and the beginning of season 2, and season 2 in general is where I enjoyed the episodes the most. And now that I'm thinking about it, I think probably my favorite episode is the Clothes Don't Make the Turtle, which I don't think is going to be a controversial opinion. I think a lot of people really enjoy that episode and find it one of the best, if not the best episode in the series. So I would say that's my favorite episode, whereas for my least favorite, I would probably say some of the early season 1 stuff, because it took me about 16 episodes to really start getting into the show, which is honestly kind of par for the course when you actually look at my experience with TMNT, because it wasn't until the end of season 1 of the 2003 series that I actually really started to genuinely enjoy it, and I wasn't just relying on nostalgia to enjoy it. Because yeah, there's some interesting episodes that I like Notes from the Underground from season 1, but it was still not really that great of a season as a whole, I feel like. So it took me until the beginning of season 2 there to really start enjoying it. For the 2012 series, like I said, season 1 is very bland, so it took me until season 2 to really start getting into it. Similarly, the 1987 series, I didn't really love the series until we started season 3, and currently season 4 is even better, so again, I'm making my point here. And Rise of the TMNT, similarly, it took me until, I believe, episode 8A or 8B to really start enjoying it. So, yeah, it seems like it just takes me a little bit to really start enjoying TMNT for some reason. Who knows why? Yeah, so I guess the only thing left for me to share is for the 1987 series. I don't know if it's fair to really say my favorite and least favorite episodes of that series right now, because we're only like a third of the way through the series. We still have most of season 4, season 5, season 6, season 7, season 8, season 9, and season 10. So there's still a lot of episodes that could impress me or piss me off. But from the episodes so far, I guess I would say a decent amount of episodes from season 3 and season 4 are probably my favorite. Like, let me at least look at the episodes that I am yet to post, because I can look at those thumbnails at the very least. There's already some episodes that I really like Leatherhead versus the Rat King was a really fun episode. I liked The Great Bodini. I liked Shredder View. That was a really cool episode. I liked Plan 6 from Outer Space. I liked Shredder's Mom. I liked, I believe it was Turtle Maniac. I liked Planet of the Turtles. I liked Name That Tune. I liked Menace Maestro Please. There's a lot of episodes, and there's also the Usagi episodes, and in general, a lot of episodes from season 3 and 4 are just really, really fun. It's kind of hard to really pick out my favorite ones. I will do that once I'm done with the series, but yeah, now is not that time. Since we are still on the topic of TMNT, let's continue with the next question by nobody himself. That being, why are there no reactors for TMNT 2003? Honestly, I have no idea whatsoever. Because the 2003 TMNT series is very copyright lenient, for a lack of a better term. Because you know how in general, when doing reactors, you have to edit them down heavily and remove so much content to be able to, at the very least, either keep the video public or even earn money off of that reaction. Like, from my experience, I've found that for an episode of like TMNT, you need to cut out, you can only keep like 4.5 minutes of actual footage. You can keep as much audio as you want, but you can only keep like 4.5 minutes of footage from the episode in the reaction, and sometimes you even have to like turn down the opacity of the video, so it has to be very see-through for the YouTube system to not catch it. That's what I had to do for a lot of Rise of the TMNT episodes and for, I believe, the final 2 seasons of TMNT 2012. The 2003 TMNT series, on the other hand, doesn't really have any of those issues, you know? Like, look at how little editing there is for my reactions for the 2003 series. There's almost none, honestly. And back then, I didn't even know how to edit, really, so I just kind of cut down parts where I didn't really have anything to say, or I just said something embarrassing. So you can largely watch the whole episodes there. And hell, I'm even planning on doing full-length reactions on YouTube for the 2003 series once I get to react to it, you know? Because it just does not get claimed or blocked in any way, shape, or form. My videos have been on YouTube for 4 or 5 years now, and there's nothing. I think it's because of the general copyright issues that exist for the TMNT 2003 series, because look at how sidelined that incarnation of TMNT is in general by the owners of TMNT, which at this point, I'm not sure who it is. Is it Paramount? Like, who the fuck owns TMNT right now? Like, there's references to the 2012 series in Rise of the TMNT, but the 2003 series is nowhere to be seen there. Like, it's very sidelined, and I believe there's also some issues with, like, not really any or much physical availability for Blu-rays or just general DVDs of the 2003 series. So maybe I think that's the reason why there is not really any copyright issues. So I'm really curious to see what channels like Third Street Reactions, who have said that they will be reacting to the 2003 series once they're done with the 2012 series, how they're going to approach it, because the copyright is non-existent for that one, and it's kind of cool, but it's kind of worrisome, because for me it means that most likely whenever I do my reactions for the 2003 series, I will have to do like 2 versions of the video. One which is going to be the full-length version for YouTube, and another one that is going to be an edited down version if potentially in the future the full-length reactions get removed or blocked or whatever. And I also will have to have the potential in that case for like a Patreon exclusive full-length version. So yeah, that's going to be a little bit complicated, but honestly, outside of that, I don't know why nobody has reacted to the 2003 TMNT series. I wonder the same thing about the Fullmetal Alchemist 2003 series. I'm like the only person who has fully reacted to it. There are some people who have done reactions here and there, but nobody who has done as high quality videos as me, or who has actually watched the whole thing. Last I checked, I haven't checked in like a year or 2, maybe even at this point, like 1.5 years. But last I checked, there was nobody. And I myself want to watch somebody else's reactions, because usually after I watch an episode, I want to see other people's opinions, especially because it usually would be months after that I will actually upload the reaction and get your guys' opinion on those episodes. So yeah, I don't know. It boggles my mind. Same thing for Ghost Whisperer. That series is really fucking good, and I'm surprised nobody else has reacted to it. Like, what the fuck? On one side, it's cool because I get to be like the only person who offers that kind of content, and that potentially boosts my views. But at the same time, I kind of want to watch somebody else react to it, you know? As much as I like being on this side of the experience, I wouldn't be on this side of the experience if I didn't enjoy being on the other side, you know? But yeah, I don't know why nobody else reacts to the 2003 series, man. It's so fucking good. I hope that it's gonna increase though, because if Third Street Reaction do it, I can definitely see that catching up on to more people reacting to it, like We Ain't Seen It reactions, or maybe potentially even somebody like Bad Medicine, or even Blind Wave. So hopefully there's gonna be an increase in people reacting to that series, because it's fucking good. But yeah, now finally for a switch up in the type of questions that you guys have given me. Finally a question that is the kind of question that I've wanted to get from you guys. Not that I don't enjoy the other ones, I enjoy talking in videos like this, but I just wanted to share more about myself, you know. And that's what I'm going to be doing with the next question by A Potamono, which says, hey, if this is not a question you feel comfortable answering, then that's fine. But how has your transition been going? Not just medically, but socially as well. I've noticed you have started presenting more feminine in your non-K-pop reactions, and you generally seem happier and more confident, so I assume it's been going well. So, I will be doing a video right after this one explaining the whole experience that I've went through this year, because it's been a big year of change for me. And I don't want to spoil it right here, but the goal has finally been achieved. At least the first one that I've been wanting for the last 6 or 7 years. I finally did it. I finally got it. So I'm going to be talking in great detail about this in a separate video right after this. But generally, I can say that it's been going pretty great. The reason why I started presenting more feminine in my non-K-pop reactions is because there's some things that I figured out about my identity and exactly how I identify and how I feel during the course of this year. Because before that, I dressed femininely whenever I obviously wanted to be seen more. It was a little bit of a coping mechanism, you know, and it wasn't because I liked those clothes necessarily, or I liked how I looked in them. It was just a coping mechanism because I want to be a girl, you know. I'm trans, so I try to compensate by dressing super femininely, and then sometimes I would kind of get a backlash in my head to where I feel like I'm just a clown, acting like a clown, and it's just wrong and disgusting what I'm doing, and I would just kind of shove myself in the closet a little bit and just start presenting more masculinely again. But I've made big steps in my transition this year, so I just feel more comfortable being myself and finally just settling in my actual identity of who I am, you know. It's kind of hard exactly to explain, but yeah, generally I feel more comfortable and I feel like I am actually more me in videos recently, because I'm not wearing the clothes that I'm wearing right now just because I want to be seen as a girl or because I just want to present femininely, but because I like how I look in them, I like the clothes in general, and I feel like they suit me and they're my style, you know? And at this point, I mean, I have to get people accustomed also to me presenting more femininely, because, I mean, going forward, I'm just going to get more and more feminine. So you have to get accustomed to the fact that I'm a girl. And for some people who have been watching my reactions while I present masculine, that might come as a shock a little bit, because not everybody is aware of the fact that I'm trans. Not everybody watches every single second of my videos. So yeah, this year, it's safe to say that it has been going well. Hopefully it's going to get even better next year, but that only can happen through your guys' support. So, after this great personal question, which again I will be answering far more in detail in a different video, let's get into the next question, which is once again a question regarding future reactions. That being a question by Predrag Reykjavik, which says, will you watch Deltora Quest or Blue Dragon anime when you have time? Both are really good. I believe I've already answered this question in the comments other times when I've been asked about this. I definitely have an interest to check out at least Deltora's Quest. It's an anime cartoon series that is kind of reminiscent in style to Fullmetal Alchemist. And I believe I even watched a little bit of it when I was a child, because the name does sound familiar, so I've definitely at least stumbled upon it on TV. So I definitely have an interest to react to it, but I can't tell you 100% when I'm gonna react to it, because there's a lot of things that I want to react to. There's a lot of things that I need to juggle on the channel, and not all of them are just like the reactions to like cartoons, movies, anime series, TV shows. Like there's also gaming videos and K-pop, and it's hard to juggle all of that. And then there's also my personal life and my work life outside of YouTube, where I just don't really have the time to really focus too much. So I don't know when I will be able to react to that, to those two series. But at least for the Deltora's Quest, I will react to it. And I believe I've promised to react to it once I'm done with all of Ben 10, so I'm gonna try to keep my promise, but it might be a long time until we get there, just so you know. There's one way you can make me react to any series sooner, and that is by potentially donating a lot of money on my Patreon, my Coffee account, or my PayPal. That would definitely make me react to something sooner. Like, donate like $100, $500 and I will react to whatever you want. It's not like an official tier that I've made over there, but it's kind of like a thing that I've been thinking about, like, setting up. If you guys want me to react to something ASAP and focus on it completely, I need at least the certain income there, because I don't know if the Deltora's Quest is going to be like a popular series on my channel, so focusing on that series for a period of time is going to be potentially a risky endeavor. So if you want it to happen sooner rather than later, you need to at least guarantee me some income like that, you know. But again, it's not like I don't I don't want to react to it, like, or I want to deny you things that you guys want to see. I want to do shows that you guys want to see, so I can keep you watching and build up our relationship. But there's still a lot of shows that I want to cover, even for myself, not just like that you guys enjoy. So yeah, I don't know. I will check at least Deltora's Quest eventually, but it's most likely going to be a long time until I do. But anyway, let's continue with the next question, which is once again a TMNT 2012 question. That being by Mark Suraki, with the question being, who do you think should have been the final villain of TMNT 2012? No, maybe? Have him or her be a Japanese demon that was an enemy of the Hamato clan? Jarrell, have him be the creator of the mutagen bomb and the mutant apocalypse is a what if he won timeline? Or the demon shredder, where he can be the first shredder and maybe Oroku Nagi, but instead of being Saki's brother, he can be his who knows how many great-great-grandfather. So I'm going to twist your question a little bit because of something that you in particular mention in it. I don't know necessarily who should have been the final villain of the TMNT 2012 series. But what I know is that if they brought back Shredder as a fucking zombie in Season 5, I don't think they should have fucking gotten rid of him that quickly, because that feels rushed as fuck. He gets brought back in one episode. I believe he's there in another one, if not, if he doesn't even get kicked back to hell in the next episode. So I wish if they brought him, since they brought him back, they kept him for the rest of the season. But outside of that, I don't really care about who the villain is necessarily, but I like the concept of the mutant apocalypse being a whole season, and that being the final season of the series, that being like what all of Season 5 should have been, or maybe potentially what Season 6 could have been. You know, similarly to how in the 2003 series, the 5th season was kind of wacky and experimental, and then Season 6 was a complete shift in tone and setting, but it was going to be, instead of setting the future sci-fi stuff that the 2003 series was set, it was going to be in a post-apocalyptic future. I think that could have been really, really cool, and that could have been a really cool final season, because I personally really like the Mutant Apocalypse as a finale for the series. I think it works. And I think it would have worked even better if we actually got to see the journey to that destination, you know? But sadly we didn't, so yeah, I don't know. I will say though, I feel like the villain kind of situation in the 2012 series I'm not too big of a fan of, in terms of how spread out the villains are, because the Cranks are villains for like 3 seasons and they get defeated in very similar ways for all those seasons. Shredder is still there and he also gets defeated multiple times. And even in season 4, he has to get defeated again, and in season 5 he has to get defeated again. It's like they keep reusing the villains. I would have liked a little bit of a more strict focus on villains for like a season or 2, and then you get rid of them. Or if you have kind of like more intertwinement between the villains, again, there's a little bit more strictness about when the villains appear, because right now it's very all over the place. You have the Crank for 3 seasons, you have the Shredder for 5 seasons, you have the Triceratons for like half a season, and it's kind of like completely random and messy, and I don't like that. And then for season 5 you have Tiger Claw and the Demon Dragon for like minor villains, and then a bunch of episode specific villains. It's a little bit all over the place is what I'm trying to say. I feel like as much as I might have issues similar with the 2003 villains, I feel like they did a better job at least at like structuring the villains better, because you had the Shredder for like 3 seasons, then you had Bishop for like a season, and then you had another Shredder for season 5, a completely different villain for season 6, and another Shredder for season 7. Like, I feel like it was far better like structured, while still there was crossovers between the villains, because Bishop was a villain since I believe season 2, so I feel like they could have done it better. But yeah, that's basically my thoughts for your question there. I'm sorry if it's not exactly what you asked, but I don't know. It's kind of hard for me to say what exactly they should have done, you know? I need some kind of like specific restrictions about the kind of villains that they should have done. I'm not really good at coming up with stuff without any kind of like restrictions. I'm not that creative like that. I'm much more creative when it comes to being like inspired by the things around me, you know? That's why I'm telling you that it would have been better if the final season was the Mutant Apocalypse thing, because you brought it up and I think it's a good idea, you know? But yeah. Let's continue with the next question by Junkyard Edits. So if you could do your own version of Rise, how would you do it if you were left with the ideas they had like? And I haven't written down either the rest of the comment potentially, or maybe they stopped writing there. I don't know. But in general, that's kind of connected to what I just said about me not really being able to be creative about the concepts they should have done, because I need restrictions to be able to come up with stuff. Like, I need a set tone for what it should be for me to be able to come up with the kind of characters and stories they should have told. So I personally wouldn't necessarily change much about Rise if I was doing it. I would definitely give longer episodes and a more, like, at least more strict tone between episodes. Like, I would have some episodes that are more comedic, I would have some episodes that are more serious, and I would try to kind of intersperse them in a better way where you might have a bunch of really funny episodes, then you might have a bunch of serious ones. Hell, maybe I would do a season that is all serious, maybe one season that is more comedic. I would play around with stuff like that more. I would try to do more similar, like, tone to what the movie was, where it was a pretty good fusion of comedy and drama as well. I would have definitely more consistent character arcs for the episodes, but I think the biggest thing that should have changed about Rise of the TMNT is the length of the episodes. I think that is ultimately the thing that draws it back the most, holds it back the most. If they were longer, I think I would have had less issues with it and would have been more enjoyable. Because sure, right off the bat, the art style is not necessarily something that you can get into, but it's not bad ultimately, and I do enjoy it. Like, I love the series, but yeah, I feel like if they started off with like more of like the movie tone, I would have liked it more right off the bat, because that's the kind of vibe that the series in general gave me. But it was still leaning a lot more comedic in the actual series than in the movie, so I feel like if they struck a better balance like in the movie, it would have been better. But yeah, let's continue with the next question, which is, surprise, surprise, another TMNT question by Jose Zilla, Prince of the Monsters and Dinosaurs. Hell of a name. The question being, have you thought about watching Mutant Mayhem when it comes out? Because it looks straight out of Spider-Verse and Puss in Boots, The Last Wish. So, I already said, yes, I will be reacting to Mutant Mayhem relatively soon. I have no choice really because my channel is built on TMNT content, so it would be a waste if I don't react to it because it's gonna get a lot of views most likely. But yeah, I said in my reaction to the trailer that I don't necessarily have too much of an interest to check it out because I feel like the tone being very comedic and the characters of the turtles being very young, I'm not really gonna jive with a lot because first of all, I'm kind of sick to death of comedic iterations of the turtles. We have like how many comedic iterations of the turtles? Practically every single iteration of the turtles, be it a movie, cartoon, live action, whatever it may be, except the 2003 series, is very comedic. And even the 2003 series is pretty comedic, all things considered. But of all the series and movies that we have, only one is actually dramatic and serious. I think it's about time for us to get another series of TMNT as good as the 2003 series and as serious as the 2003 series. So my biggest disdain for Mutant Mayhem comes from there. I am definitely biased against it. That said, I do like how it looks visually. I like the art style. It kind of feels a little bit Telltale Games-like, which I kind of like. Like, I like the Telltale style. So that is definitely a plus for it. And I'm gonna try to get into it as with open mind as I can get into it, but yeah, I don't know. I feel like I'm ultimately gonna end up enjoying it, but I feel like on some level I will just not let myself be a fan of that movie because of the issues that I have with getting another comedic young Turtles incarnation. Like, I'm sick of that one. Can we get some more 2003 TMNT for fuck's sake? It's not fair. Stop courting just one side of the fan base, man. But yes, I will be reacting to it relatively soon. So, let's continue with the next question, which is kind of out of the blue with what it is about, actually. That being a question by Sammy YouTube 7981. That being, can you do a reaction to the Planet of the Apes movies? Can you do a reaction series to Beast Wars? Can you react to the new Super Mario Bros. Movie? So, let's tackle the things one by one. Can you do a reaction to the Planet of the Apes movies? First question, which Planet of the Apes? Because I believe there's like 3 incarnations. One from like 50 years ago, one from the early 2000s that I remember, that I wouldn't mind rewatching because it's definitely going to be a nostalgic experience. And then there's the 2010 CGI trilogy, I think it was. And I think there's going to be another one coming soon as well, if I'm not mistaken. So, I mean, to be honest, I'm open to pretty much reacting to anything on the channel as long as it like sparks my interest and it's gonna get views. I'm mainly leaning right now towards nostalgic things or things that I personally want to see, but I am open definitely to your guys' suggestion. So if there's a lot of a demand for reaction to something like that, I would definitely not mind doing it, you know? So if you can get people spamming in the comments that you want me to react to something, sure. Or potentially, like I said earlier for one of the other suggestions, if you really want me to react to it, you can also just get in touch with me and we can decide on like a certain sum of money that you can send me on Patreon, Ko-fi, or PayPal that will make me react to it as soon as you ask me to, you know? Something like, let's say, $50, and I can do all of the Planet of the Apes movies. That is not the set price, by the way, I'm just giving you an example. The set price would probably be something like 100 or 150, because it's like a decent amount of movies. But yeah, I am open to doing that. Just need a demand for that kind of a reaction, and probably some free time to when I can cover it, you know. But yeah, the next question was, can you do a reaction series to Beast Wars? Which I believe we already covered with the first question in this video. So yes, I can do a reaction to Beast Wars. I will do a reaction to Beast Wars eventually. If we're talking about the Transformers Beast Wars series, I will do it eventually as I make my way through all of Transformers. So yes, I can do that. And the final thing being the, can you react to the new Super Mario Bros. Movie? I don't really have an interest to do that. I'm not really much of a Super Mario fan. I remember playing Super Mario games when I was a kid on like my knockoff Nintendo game, but I don't really have an interest to do that, so I'm probably leaning towards no, because it's just not really my style, my kind of thing. But yeah, let's continue to the next question, that being a question by Tiaviva2332. I believe this was commented under a Rise of the TMNT reaction. And I'm saying this because a little bit of the question in the comment like kind of talks about in relation to what it commented under. So I'm gonna read it to you now. Thank you for giving a chance to this show, that being the Rise of the TMNT series most likely. It deserves so much more than what it got. Some say that season 3 is possibly going to happen, and I'm glad that you enjoyed the movie. Also, if you're done with the next mutation, can you react to Lego Monkey Kid? It's animated by the same people who animated the Rise of the TMNT show and movie. So I've looked up Lego Monkey Kid a little bit. I'm still not exactly sure what it is and what it is about. It seems like it's like one of those Lego animated series, which I'm personally not really a big fan of. Because I've watched, I believe it was called like Lego Ninjago, and I really hate the Lego hands. I think that's the thing that bothers me so much. You have animation and you decide to use these kind of like Lego looking figures. I just don't like that a lot. So that definitely holds me back a little bit if it's exactly like that looking. But like I said before, I'm generally open to reacting to whatever you guys want me to, as long as it either will get me a lot of views, a lot of you guys are gonna watch it and you're gonna enjoy it, and I will personally enjoy it. With it seemingly being like a more kiddie kind of show, I know it's kind of hypocritical to judge it in the same manner that I did for the Rise of the TMNT series, but it's still a different series, so I can't necessarily assume that it's gonna be as deep and traumatic as the Rise of the TMNT series ended up being eventually. So with it being like a very kiddie targeted show, I don't know if I really have an interest to check it out, but I'm not necessarily against the idea. And it also seems like it's still ongoing from what I saw on YouTube, because there's been like a movie or something released, I believe this year. So I don't really like covering shows that are still being released, at least not in like reaction series. I don't mind covering them in the reviews, as you have seen with my reviews for The Walking Dead universe and Doctor Who. So at the very least, I can potentially check it out whenever it's finished airing, because I like working with complete series, not ones that are still airing. So yeah, that's my answer there. And we're almost at the end of the questions actually, which thank God, because I definitely need to take a little bit of a break because my throat is starting to hurt, but still we have a couple of more questions left. So let's continue with another question by Sammy YouTube 7981. Since this month is Halloween month, it was when they commented it, I was wondering if you would react to a couple of the most famous horror movies with all the iconic slashers, such as Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the Halloween movies, and the Saw franchise. So, if you guys are not aware, I am a big horror fan. My issue with specifically covering all of these movies and all these iconic franchises is that I'm also a big fan of the Dead Meat YouTube channel. So I've pretty much watched his videos covering all of those movies, so I'm aware of pretty much everything that happens, so I don't know how much of a good reaction I can do for those movies. Again, I'm not against the idea of doing it. Hell, I feel like I will have a lot of fun with it, but I would most likely have to intersperse it with covering a lot of different horror movies in between all the different movies in these iconic franchises, because I mean, again, I have very vivid memory about the details of many of those movies, so I don't feel like it's going to be a really novel experience for me to cover all of those. There are still some horror movies that are in like decently sized franchises that I haven't seen, but it's mostly the more obscure and less iconic slashers of like the 80s and 90s. That I most likely will be checking out, because there's, for example, there's a horror movie which, where have I written it down? There's a horror movie called Grave Encounters, which I haven't seen. It's like a found footage movie that I plan on watching at some point next year. So that's the kind of horror movies that you can expect me to react to, but not really right now around Halloween, because I'm just busy and I already have pre-recorded reactions for movies that I have to edit and upload before we get to future ones. So yeah, I'm open to reacting to more horror movies, but again, those specifically iconic horror franchises I'm probably not going to be able to react to, because I've seen all the Dead Meat videos on the Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the Halloween movies. I don't remember whether they've done the Saw movies, but I believe they did do the Saw movies as well, so I've seen those as well. And there's a bunch of other iconic horror franchises like Final Destination, which I'm a big fan of, which I have seen extensively, or Paranormal Activity as well. So yeah, most likely you can just expect me to react to the more one-off horror movies, but yeah, like I said before, I'm open to reacting to stuff if you guys are willing to put your money where your mouth is, or in this case, where your keyboard is. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see what the future holds. But yeah, let's continue with the next question, which is finally something a little bit different. That being a question in regards to my K-pop reactions, which is not something that I've gotten before and that I've expected to really to get, but here we are. That being a question by Bolly Magic Vibes 7354. What BTS member solo you liked the most? So, at the point of which I'm recording this video, I've seen glimpses of J-Hope's solo, which seemed very inspired and interesting, but I haven't really watched it yet. I haven't done my reactions to it, so I can't really say too much, but at least it seemed interesting and inspired, so there's that. I've obviously seen Jimin's solo stuff, and I fucking loved it. I've seen Suga's new comeback. Well, at this point it's not really new, but I've seen his most recent comeback, which I also liked quite a lot. And I've also seen Jungkook's solo debut. I'm yet to react to his full album, but I did like the 7 explicit version quite a lot. And his other recent song that I don't remember the name of. Give me a second if I can find it. It's called 3D. It has some issues, but I liked it overall. And I'm still not reacted to the main title track of the album, Golden, and the B-sides, so I can't really say much on that. But overall, I liked his solo stuff as well. So, I would say probably the one that I like the most is a very close tie between Jimin and Suga, honestly, because I like Jimin's stuff probably slightly more, but there's only like 4 songs in that album, whereas for Suga's album, I guess there's more of like a difference in how much I like all the songs in his most recent album, but there's like 8 songs or something, so there's far more for me to enjoy, so it's kind of a tie between the two of them. Then it's definitely Jungkook, then slightly behind, well, somewhat behind Jungkook is gonna be J-Hope, and far on the goddamn bottom is gonna be V, which I am very disappointed about, because I really didn't like his solo stuff. It really annoyed me. The only song of his solo stuff that I even remotely liked was Rainy Days, and even that one is just like, okay, kind of like random ballad that I might not skip if I stumble upon when I'm listening to K-pop, but it's not really a song that I'm gonna go out of my way to listen to, you know? So yeah, I liked Jimin and Suga's stuff the most. I like Jungkook's stuff quite a lot as well, probably about as much. Then there's J-Hope, who I haven't really delved into much, but I found it at least very interesting and inspired. And then there's V, who I think sucked. Straight up sucked. The only 2 other members that are left are RM and Jin, but I don't think they've released like proper solo stuff recently, so I can't really say anything about them. But if they do release albums or whatever soon, I definitely will be interested to check it out. But yeah, that's how I feel about this. And let's finally get into the final question, which is actually a question from a couple of days ago. That is once again by Jose Zilla, Prince of the Monsters, 6812. With the question being, have you thought of reacting to animes like Beyblade Burst or Pokemon or RWBY or Star Wars related stuff like 6 Films, Clone Wars or Rebels or Kim Possible or Danny Phantom, whichever one, like Kick-Ass Reaction for example? So, there's quite a lot of things to cover here, but to answer the first question, no shit, yes, I have thought of reacting to animes. I started reacting to animes earlier this year. Before that, I wasn't doing them. I started doing them after checking out the Japanese TMNT thing that I literally forgot existed until right now. And after that, I started doing reactions to Inazuma 11. The only reason why I haven't done any reactions to Inazuma 11 recently is because I didn't have time to record and because I've switched up the way I do content, so that's on the back burner right now, with my main focus being on the next Mutation TMNT series. Then it's going to be most likely on the 1987 TMNT series, then it's going to focus most likely on Ghost Whisperer, then on H2O, then on Ben 10, so Inazuma 11 is going to be on the back burner. But yes, I wanna react to anime. I think it's gonna be fun. I know how to edit those reactions now, and I think it could be really, really fun. I haven't necessarily thought about checking out anime series other than the ones that I'm already a fan of, like Inazuma 11 and Yu-Gi-Oh! But I've mentioned before, I believe, that I have an interest to check out Beyblade, at least the Metal Saga. I have an interest to check out. Not really in like a subbed version. I want to watch the dub or whatever it's called. I want to check out Bakugan because I haven't watched it in recent years, and I want to cover it on the channel, obviously. I've thought about checking out Pokemon. In particular, I want to check out the series featuring Dawn, and because that's the series that I grew up with and that I have a nostalgia for, so I want to check that one out. For Star Wars, I'm personally not really a big fan of Star Wars myself, but I've seen some glimpses of the Clone Wars at least, so I can definitely see myself enjoying that one. I definitely want to check out Kim Possible, because that's a good series. I've heard a lot of people love Danny Phantom, but I personally have never really been into it, so I'm open to the idea, but I'm not necessarily eager to do it right off the bat right now. So yeah, pretty much anything that people from my generation have grown up with, I'm open to reacting to, man. Because this is, as the name implies, a nostalgia trip. This is all about going on a nostalgia trip with series that I've grown up with. Obviously, there are some shows and things that I'm covering that I haven't grown up with, but the idea is still there, because the reason why I'm checking out these things is because of the nostalgia that I had for similar things, you know? So yeah, I am open to doing all these things, but like I said, for Beyblade, I'm mainly interested in the Metal Saga. Potentially I can check out some other stuff afterwards, but the Metal Saga is the first thing that I want to focus on. I want to watch Pokemon, but mainly I think it's Diamond and Pearl series. I want to check out Kim Possible, probably sooner rather than later, because it's a really fun series and I have nostalgia for it. But yeah, I'm already very busy with a lot of shows, so I don't know when I'm gonna get to it, you know. But yeah, supporting me and allowing me to support myself by doing this is definitely gonna make it more likely for me to do it sooner, because I can give all of my attention to doing YouTube and making these videos, so I can do them on more regular time, because right now I'm busy with personal life and with work that I earn money with, so yeah, I just don't really have time to do too many videos. But yeah, that's pretty much all of the Q&A. Once again, I want to thank you guys for getting me to 2,000 subscribers. It means a lot. Hopefully we can continue being together on this journey to 5,000, 10,000, 100,000, maybe even 1,000,000. That's so far off, I doubt I'll ever get there, but I hope I get at least 10,000, because that would be really sick. But yeah, I also want to thank you for taking your time to give me all of these questions. I had a lot of fun answering them, and I hope you guys enjoyed hearing my answers to your questions. If you have any other ones, feel free to comment them in the comments, and I'm gonna answer them over there as well. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it for this video. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, please leave a like, subscribe. Also, check out the links in the description to my Wattpad, repost my stories, because in addition to doing all these videos on my channel, I'm also a writer. And if you don't enjoy my stories, or simply enjoy my videos, you can head over to my Patreon, my Coffee account, or my PayPal, where you can pledge your support and help get the channel going, help support me so I can keep writing the stories you enjoy. But if you don't want to do any of that, that's completely fine. You can still help me out in other ways, like liking this video, subscribing to the channel, and especially sharing this video with somebody who you think might enjoy it. And I think it's pretty much it for this video, so hopefully I'm gonna see you in the next one. Bye!